The Coast Guard is in Cape Disappointment and the Pacific Northwest. Here, the missions are as menacing as the terrain. A helicopter team from Astoria sets out with Cape Disappointment's boat crew when 4 mariners are tossed into the bone-chilling waters of the Columbia River.
We're going to put a rescue swimmer in, we'll hoist you out.
It's a 1-2 punch. Let's go.
And the crews tag team the rescue effort when a violent accident leaves 2 men severely burned on a cargo ship.
When you have burn injuries, it can be extremely painful.
Passengers clear the deck.
Seeing their faces, you just knew that they were burned and that they needed help.
High peaks and tumultuous waters make Cape Disappointment and the Pacific Northwest one of the most hazardous environments in North America. At the heart of it all is the Columbia River Bar. This deadly area has taken countless vessels and claimed hundreds of lives. In the air and on the sea, brave men and women of the U.S. Coast Guard risk their own safety so that others may live. In a place known as the Graveyard of the Pacific.
Vessel hailing Coast Guard Station Cape Disappointment. Captain, what is your position? Over.
You're in the water. Are you to aim, Coast Guard?
Captain, how many people are in the water?
4.
And Captain, what is your position?
I'm running the green buoy line. Do you understand?
Captain, that's a good copy. Stand by, we're going to get you some assistance.
AJ Washington, I'm a seaman here at Station Cape Disappointment. I was working in the comm center when the Mayday call came in for 4 people in the water on the north side of the Columbia River.
Captain, can you still see the other people?
Hey, they were drifting west of it. I have 1 person with me. There are 2 others in the water. Couple 100 yards from the green buoy.
Roger, Captain. We have a helo en route. We also have a motor lifeboat and a fast response boat en route to your position. Over.
Please keep talking if you can. It's very comforting.
I continued to tell him that they were en route to his position just to comfort him a little more. It was pretty nerve-wracking for me because I don't want to be the last person he speaks with.
Sounds like there's an overturned boat. It's like out by like buoy 4. I want to say I heard him say buoy 4.
Okay. Patrick O'Brien, BM2, Station Cape Disappointment. Clear lines. Immediately when I hear 4 persons in the water, here, Station Cape Disappointment, Columbia River Bar, you don't have much time to get out there. They're just getting pushed further out to sea. The water's cold. If we can't get to them quick, they can definitely go into hypothermic stages, and that's something we really don't like to see.
Cape 207, we are underway as of 2 minutes ago.
Going ahead, we're going to launch the 47 motor lifeboat. We already have a 25 RBS underway, and a helo's being diverted. We still don't have a position for the persons in the water yet, so being able to launch all those assets and have that many more eyes looking will definitely help out the mariners on the water.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh my God, this is sloppy.
The conditions we were in were snotty. Tide was going out, and that's a common occurrence for the Columbia River Bar. Whenever it ebbs, you have your current, your wind, and your tide all working against each other. Nevertheless, it was important that we get an asset underway immediately to possibly pull people out of the water.
I don't know what the bar report was this morning, but we might want to up it.
Yeah. Due to the high swell, the helo is able to definitely get a better view of everything that's around that entrance in a much quicker fashion than what we can on the water.
All right, guys, we're coming up on scene. Keep your eyes open. We're looking for 4 people in the water. He's got to be out here somewhere.
Lieutenant Commander Dan Leary, MH-60T, Aircraft Commander, Sector Columbia River. The command center passed that someone in the water actually had a radio.
Let's see if we can have this guy contact us, see if he can see us.
We went up on 16. He started talking to us right away.
Person in the water, Coast Guard 6013. Are we east or west of you at this time? I can't see you. Roger that. Can you see the north jetty? Can't see any jetties. I can only... I am past the bow on the green buoy line.
Roger that. We'll follow the buoy lines out, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I'm in the water and by a green buoy. It wasn't a latitude and a longitude, but it was enough for us to go, all right, we know where all the green buoys are. Let's go.
Person in the water approaching the next green buoy. Do you see us?
No sight on you, no visual, no visual.
AMT-3, Rashad Gibson, flight mechanic here at Sector Columbia River. Myself and Petty Officer Lacheski, we're pretty much just looking left and right, up and down from our vantage point, everything we can see out from the side of the helicopter and the pilots out the front.
I see a helicopter in the sky.
Roger, are we coming towards you?
It would appear that you're coming towards me, dead on.
We'll be looking for you. If we pass you, call Mark.
This guy is in the water talking on the radio. I mean, this guy was cool as a cucumber.
I am facing you, and the nose of your copter is slightly veered off to the left.
Roger, we'll turn slightly to the right. Darryl, we're getting close. Why don't you get ready? How far away are we, sir?
You are a few hundred yards from me. If you remain on that course, you will pass me on your starboard side.
You know, a minute can make a difference, 5 minutes can make a difference between somebody living and dying. So I threw on my rescue gear.
Insight, insight. Mark, we got you.
And mark, there they are. There's two sets of people. Two right here at the 2 o'clock, and then another two about 200 yards out.
We're gonna put a rescue swimmer in, we'll hoist you out. We've got you visually now. How many people are in the water, sir?
There are 4 of us in the water, sir.
4, Roger. We have all of you accounted for. We see all of you.
I knew they were cold. I knew they were probably hypothermic. I just wanted to get down as soon as I could.
The 2 guys by the cooler look like they're struggling. Let's get them first. I'll vector the boat over to get the other 2. 47 on scene. We have 2 more people in the water just to the north of us.
There were 2 different groups, so we called in Cape Disappointment small boat to rescue the other 2. It's a 1-2 punch, really.
200 yards north of where they're hoisting. Okay. All right, guys. 200 yards. I'm on, so we might be bumping a little bit, all right? Hold on.
Something's going out the storage door for a load check. And swimmer's on his way down. And swimmer's going to the water. Swimmer's in the water. Swimmer's away.
When I swam up to the 2 guys, I asked them, hey, who wants to go first? There was no reply, and 1 person has to go first, so they're both going up. Just grab one and go. Grabbed 1 guy by his life jacket and did what we call an equipment tow.
All right, Daryl's on his way over.
Roger.
That's on his way down, halfway down.
Roger that.
Easy right. That's in the water.
Hoisting a survivor is pretty tricky any way you slice it. You want to be efficient, you want to be good at what you do, and you want to take care of the person on the other end of the hook.
And other survivor is just off the nose.
I've got him in sight.
Roger. Survivor's on his way up. Here, from the survivor is just beneath the cabin door.
Roger.
Get him out of the basket quickly. And survivor's coming inside the cabin.
Right. So once we get the first survivor on the aircraft, we go recover the second one as fast as we can.
Fastest going back out.
Roger that.
Obviously, in that kind of cold water, the more time it takes, the closer you get into hypothermia.
Survivor's on his way up. And survivor's coming inside the cabin.
The SAR alarm goes off. What we hear is 4 people in the water in the vicinity of one of the green buoys out in the Columbia River.
Fastest going back out.
Roger that.
So once we get the first survivor on the aircraft, we go recover the second one as fast as we can.
Quarter right 20. Quarter right 10.
This guy, he's hypothermic. What hypothermia does is all your blood goes to your core, and the blood vessels in your extremities, like your arms and your legs, restrict. And then your hands and your muscles don't really work that well. So I don't think they could have gotten the basket by themselves.
Survivor's on his way up.
So we got this last guy into the basket, and then I was ready to go back and get survivors number 3 and 4. But then when I looked over, I saw that the small boat was there.
Confirm you have two people recovered from the water. Roger, we have 2 survivors aboard. Have confirmed 4 people were in the water. We have 2, over. Roger, we have the other 2. Survivor's inside the cabin, and he is blue.
Just sent the hook right back down to there. Roger that.
The second survivor was in a lot worse shape. Having Petty Officer Lecheski down there is the only thing precluding us from getting back to station.
I have the ready for pickup signal. Swimmer's on his way up.
Roger that.
Swimmer's halfway up.
I picked up Petty Officer Lecheski and brought him into the cabin so he could start administering first aid.
Swimmer's inside the cabin. Roger, on channel 162. We're going to RTB to the base as quickly as possible to get these guys in ambulance. You can take these ER2 to Cape T. Roger.
When these guys got in the cabin, they were absolutely frigid. I mean, their hands were just clenched. I mean, we got them just in time.
These guys, they are blue. How long until we're to ambulance? 2 minutes. I'm not going to bustle all that gear then, because bust it out, we're going to be there. Yep.
They're hypothermic. We don't have time to stop. We need to get them to a higher level of care as quickly as possible.
(5607). I'd recommend if we're gonna be bringing 2 gentlemen in, put them on the 07. The ebb is really picked up on the bar. Much safer ride on the 07.
0756 Roger, we were thinking the same thing. Turn some of you guys getting down south so we can get more over.
And get blankets and pillows out.
So although the 25 was able to get those men out of the water, 25 is built for speed, not necessarily the stability factor. Now we're dealing with 6 to 8 feet out there. We needed to get them onto the 47 and inside the cabin. That way we get them warm and give them a stable ride home.
Now you feel comfortable. All right, 1 over. Just go and head that way towards him.
There you go, brother. We're gonna have you going. Just please sit down and get yourself nice and square in that survivor's compartment, sir.
All right, get life jackets on them, get them secure down there, let me know.
As uncomfortable as it may be, I'm gonna need you to take your wet clothes off.
So as we bring them on board, we want to get them down to the survivor's compartment, get their wet clothes off them, get them warm as fast as possible.
Glad you guys could come on board today. Thank you. Thanks for rescuing us. Oh, not a problem. That's what we do.
And we're really just making sure that they understand that they're going to be all right. They just went through a traumatic experience of having their boat flip over. So we want to just get them calm down and really, just look for any other signs of shock.
Oh, they got my radio on the boat.
The portable, it's on board, sir.
Great.
Oh, yeah. That was fantastic.
These gentlemen were out to do some fishing and ended up literally in the middle of nowhere. That radio that they had with them saved their life. They were able to coordinate that helo to come pinpoint them, and then the necessary assets picked them up and brought them home. How you guys feeling still? Still feeling good? Excellent, excellent. I got some insulation. Okay. Being able to recover 4 people from the water, it's not just a station rescue, it's a Coast Guard rescue.
It's really amazing what we do when you're looking back and you see people back there and you say, wow, we helped save them. They would have died if we didn't help save them.
2 lives saved. All right, cool. Folks got the other 2, so whole life is good.
This case really captures what we do here in the Pacific Northwest. We had a helicopter from Air Station Astoria on scene with 2 small boats from Cape Disappointment, and it led to a quick rescue of 4 mariners. And that's what this is all about, saving lives and everyone going home safe.
So yesterday we had a capsized vessel just outside the Columbia River. Lucky for these guys, not only were their lives saved, but the property was also saved. So we gotta tow their boat over to the local launch here and get it back to them. So they should be full of high spirits.
Your boat's looking awful sad there. Look at it in the water.
I'm Matthew Tucker. I'm from Dundee, Oregon, and myself and 3 of my friends went to go fishing in the ocean and crossed the Columbia River bar, and we didn't make it.
All right, let it go, Matt. Yeah, I got it.
A convergence of wave and wind chop and back eddy wave all came together and blew out my windshield, and that's when it became not so fine. And I ordered everybody off board 2 seconds later, that very wave picked it up, turned it over like a pancake.
Did you guys think you'd be seeing this thing again?
No, we sure didn't. We thought it was done. Yeah, we thought it was done. We thought we were done.
We all feel pretty blessed.
Right there was. Oh, yeah.
This is just a bonus.
That's what we're there for. Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a lifesaver.
If I didn't go into the water with this radio, I think we'd have been done.
The fact you guys had that handheld.
Now, he's always been that way, though. He is rules when you go on that boat.
Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough. Really enough. Appreciate it.
You can't thank anyone enough for that type of help.
Thank you very much.
You know what I'm saying? Take care, guys.
Coast Guard didn't just do it for me. Did it for me and my friends and all their families. They saved our life. Period.
The Columbia River Bar is truly one of the most dangerous stretches of ocean anywhere in the world. Known here as the graveyard of the Pacific, we train our crews to be ready to respond to any of the conditions that Cape Disappointment can throw at them.
Watch this, Dan. Let's break it, Dan.
Lieutenant Scott McGrew, Commanding Officer, Station Cape Disappointment. Here at Cape Disappointment, we're at the mouth of the Columbia River, where the Great River of the West, as it was once known, meets the North Pacific Ocean. And you have all the water of the Columbia River heading straight into these giant swells. The waves get steeper, they slow down. It creates a stretch at the entrance here known as the bar that just creates misery for fishermen, commercial vessels that ply these waters, and the Coast Guard who ensures their safety as they come across. It is truly one of the most dangerous stretches of ocean anywhere in the world. Known here as the graveyard of the Pacific, it's been the site of numerous disasters, shipwrecks. You know, those things date back hundreds of years, yet continue today. We've lost a number of Coast Guardsmen here on the bar. That's why we strive to train our crews to be ready to respond to any of the conditions that Cape Disappointment can throw at them.
Force clear. On board. On board.
Petty Officer Snyder, I'm a bosun mate at Station Cape Disappointment. Today's my 47 surf and check ride. It certifies me to operate the boats in the harshest conditions it's designed for. My surf and check ride is a culmination of all the training I put forth.
Don't do anything to impress us, just do what you would do, just like it's tomorrow and you're the certified surfman on the boat. The position of surfman, it's a very unique position in our Coast Guard. It's the highest level of certification that there is in the Coast Guard in the small boat world. There's only about 100 active surfmen at any one time. Petty Officer Snyder's been in the surf community for quite a while. He's been working on this qualification for a long time. It's provide him one last challenging scenario before we put that pin on him next week.
It looks between 12 to 16 feet on the beach. It's windy, it's rainy. It's going to be one of those miserable, you're going to get wet days on the boat. So I hope I pass, but I guess we'll find out at the end of this. Watch this, Dan. Let's break it, Dan.
Watch that one. Starboard bow, 50 yards. Everybody good? Yeah. Good job, Dan.
Petty Officer Snyder, I think he probably could have been a surfman a year ago. He took one more winter to make sure that he was ready, and that really is a testament to what it means to be a surfman, is to, know your limitations, know that the crew is counting on you to not only go out there and rescue the mariners in distress, but to bring the crew back at the same time. This was a real challenge.
I'm really impressed.
There was no room for finesse today. The surfman check ride went very well. I think we had some really challenging conditions and really put Petty Officer Snyder to the test. He did really well out there under some really challenging circumstances, a lot of wind and a lot of double up waves that are real tight, close together, and a lot of aerated water, all things that make operating a boat in the surf challenging. And he went out there, accomplished the mission, and brought us all back, and that's good news.
It's a great feeling. It's been a long road and a long training process and a lot of off days spent here working when you could have been home with your family. But with the certification comes great responsibility. And none of us want to be able to take the boat out in that situation, not be prepared. That way, if we're bringing our crew back safely, we can actually execute the mission. Because unfortunately, we don't get these calls when it's bright and sunny out. We have to prepare for the worst.
Mayday call, go ahead. The boat's taking on water. 2 persons on board. The water is continuing to rise.
Roger, Captain. We are launching a rescue helo.
I don't know why he has all these lines down. I mean, I'm really not crazy about leaving our swimmer down there.
Stuff can snap back and recoil up into the rotor system, pull the helicopter down.
He's got another area that's flooded. Coast Guard, I need assistance. I have to crew members.
Mayday Monday is what we're going to call this day.
Seeing their faces, they just knew that they were burned and that they needed help.
Submarine approaching the vessel.
Mayday relay, this is the Harvest Moon 3. Mayday call, go ahead. The boat taking on water, the Hatta 3, 2 persons on board, is not keeping up with the water. What they need right now is a pump.
Roger, Captain. Let them know that we are launching a rescue helo.
Roger on that.
Captain, it's time to close. Ready for forward flight.
Ready to take off.
Ready, yeah. 6013 sector, the vessel's name is the Hatta 3. The Good Sam is the Harvest Moon.
Roger that.
My name is Lieutenant Commander Jim Harkins. A vessel that was about 60 miles west of here was taken on water. Started up and headed offshore.
All right, everything's ready. Just head on out, all right?
Yep. We're going what?
60-some miles offshore.
Sturval on, boatswain 3rd class at Station Cape Disappointment. We don't know how bad the flooding is. Had about 2 people on board, 2 dogs. We launched at 47. Knew it'd be a long response. We geared up, headed out there.
Cape 207, request updated position, current course and speed also.
BM1 Nathan Burns, they're going to be able to quick get out there doing 180 miles an hour, and the boat's only making 25 miles an hour. But the boat can stay on scene for 10, 15 hours and keep a stable platform right next to the boat in case we need to pick people up out of the water.
They're making approximately 5 knots towards us. We're making about 25 knots towards them. So just over 2 hours, hopefully, we arrive on scene.
Central Harvest Moon 3, Sector Columbia River. Request to know if the captain can keep control of the flooding.
He is not making progress on the flooding, so the water is continuing to rise.
On our way out, we overheard conversation between the Harvest Moon and the Coast Guard that was relaying information for the Hatta 3.
Coast Guard, this is Harvest Moon 3. We have the wife aboard our vessel now as well. We're going to take his hard life raft back to the stern of his boat and let it hang off the stern of his boat in case he needs to get in it real quick.
It was our understanding that there was a female on board that had been transferred across to the other boat and a couple of dogs. So all we knew is that the captain of the Hatta 3 was the only one on board the vessel.
Ideally, we'll put you down without a tray line.
I'm just afraid if we stop the boat at any point, we may shift something that may cause the flooding to become worse.
Vessel taking on water, it's not just about the people. It's losing the vessel as well. It also has to do with the pollution that the vessel may cause. You may have fuel, oil, whatever, that now causes issue for the environment.
There's a boat about 18 miles up there. Might be them.
We, of course, want to make best speed so this boat doesn't sink, but we want to be real careful when we get there.
Pretty much right off the nose here.
Right, doors coming open.
Coming down to 100 foot over.
When we arrived on scene, the vessel was riding kind of low in the water.
You see there's a whole bunch of lines coming across that area too, hanging down from that center mast.
We also observed that there was a lot of line in the water. So immediately when we see that, we have a concern about putting our rescue swimmer down.
I don't know why he has all these lines down.
Maybe he was fishing and then found out he's in trouble. Now he just forgot about lines.
I'm EMT2 Ed Secra. Say the boat does decide to take a roll or whatever, and Chief has to go take a swim. Could get him tied to those lines, and now he's going for a ride with the boat.
What do you think, sir? Can you put me on that thing?
I'm coming down to 60 feet to get a better look.
The best spot would be where that dinghy sits. I agree.
This particular boat had a pretty open stern on it, so we decided that was the best bet with all of the debris.
Hoisting altitude is going to be 60 feet.
Roger that.
We got Chief in the door. We're going to deliver a trail line to aid in bringing the swimmer down.
Trail line's going out the door, going down. Right, 10.
Whenever we're dropping a cable down, it becomes definitely a significant hazard as far as the snagging.
Hold. Trail line is on deck. Hold position.
Stuff can snap back and recoil up into the rotor system.
Swimmer is going down.
You know, if it's heavy enough and strong enough, pull the helicopter down.
Easy right. Okay, come on right.
There was great risk of putting Chief down into that rigging and the lines.
Swimmer is approaching the vessel. Easy right.
But the seas were fairly calm, so we felt pretty comfortable that we could thread the needle right into that spot.
And rescue swimmer is on deck. And swimmer is disconnected from hoist hook. Retrieving the hoist hook.
Once we got on the boat, I quickly looked at inside the space, saw that it was flooding, and it was continuously flooding.
And bring the pump outside cabin door. Pump is going down.
We decided they would immediately send the pumps down.
I think they got one pump working. And 6013 RS. It's continuing to flood, but we're able to keep up with it with one pump with a secondary standing by.
We were able to keep up with it to the point that we could actually shut the pump down.
Columbia River, we are inbound 57 nautical miles from the bar.
Like any SAR case, what you have at that moment changes. He decided to go forward, and he sped up. And when he sped up, we started to take on more water.
We're going to need a minute or two to figure out our situation. My concern is, at this point, is we're pumping constantly.
There's a lot of uncertainty when you have your swimmer down and he's taking on water. When boats capsize, it can happen quickly. Almost, you know, to a point where everybody thinks everything's under control, and within a minute or two, everybody's swimming.
We're actually going to slow the vessel down and attempt to see if there's something we can do to change the situation.
You feel the situation is getting just a little bit more tense?
Roger, sir.
You know, you hear the flooding is increasing. At what point is it too dangerous for them to stay on board?
He's got another area that's flooded. Unfortunately, it has about 1.5 feet of water. We're going to try to dewater that area as well. We'll let you know in about 10-15.
Roger that. Oh, we add on fuel. Getting close to bingo. How far out is he from shore right now?
It's like 50 miles. Chief's been down there quite a while now, and fuel's always an issue, especially this far offshore.
I need to leave here in about 20 minutes, Chief. So I want to know how dangerous the situation is for you to stay on board while we head back to get more fuel.
Roger, sir. Give me a 10. Let me see what I give.
I mean, would it be all right to leave him alone for an hour?
I mean, I'm really not crazy about leaving our swimmer down there.
When we were trying to figure out, should we just leave him right now, go back, get gas, come back out? We didn't like that. I didn't want to really leave the swimmer behind. It's just never a good idea.
There's one on the left side, too, so I guess he's got both of them set up. Yeah, see that? There's a stream of water there.
Obviously got pressure going through it now.
But then Chief came back on the radio and said, hey, I think I'm going to be ready to go in about 5 minutes. So we thought, hey, that's great. We got plenty of gas for that.
Looks like he's getting his gear together. He's going to pull into 100-foot hover.
Well, we were able to actually pump out. Both spaces were clear. I gave him a crash course on how to run one of our P1 pumps. And once he felt comfortable, then we decided that we would go ahead and depart that vessel.
Swimmer is clear of the deck, clear to move back and left.
We knew the Cape D 47-footer was on its way out, and the skipper felt comfortable running the dewatering pumps until the 47-footer got on scene to escort him in.
Swimmer's inside cabin, hoist complete. Have north common close, ready for forward flight.
Okay, sector 6013, RTB at this time.
Coast Guard, Alexandros Theopolis. I need assistance. I have 2 crew members burned.
Sounds like 2 crew members injured on a large ship. So right in the middle of all this, we get this other call, very broken English.
I call assistance for transportation to hospital. Over.
The Alexandros Theos was a large motor vessel. Some sort of a flash fire occurred.
13 sector, Cape D's headed out there with an AMC, and once we know the severity of the burns, we'll have a location on where we want to take them over.
Roger, 13 copy. Sounds like all kinds of people have trouble today.
Cape 556 underway, guard score 20, how copy?
They're just outside of CR buoy, it sounds like. We're gonna try to get our EMT up there.
I'm BM1 Shane Abel. We knew that there was going to be a delayed response from the helicopter getting on scene, so it made it that much more important for us to get an EMT and a crew member up there. You guys ready?
Yep. Punch it. Cape 556 underway. Guard score 2-0. How copy?
1-4, we received a call while we were out on a 25 of a fuel oil explosion on a deep draft offshore.
They're just outside of CR buoy, it sounds like.
Got it.
And the helo is also launching on top of that. The helicopter had to go back to the air station and refuel. So we knew that there was going to be a delayed response from the helicopter getting on scene. So it made it that much more important for us to get an EMT and a crew member up there to assess the situation. The burn itself can lead to shock and even death if it's not dealt with right away. You guys ready?
Yep. Punch it.
The vessel was a deep draft cargo vessel, 7.5 miles or so southwest of the Columbia River entrance buoy.
Wesley Hall, MK2, Station Cape Disappointment. We're going to be the first ones on scene, try and get our initial assessment done, and everything we can to stabilize these patients.
556.
Happy Monday. Mayday Monday is what we're going to call this day. We chose the 25-foot RBS just because it was upgraded response time. It allowed our EMT and crew member to be there that much sooner. Is this him?
This has got to be it. That's it, Alexander Theo.
On and around the Columbia River, we get a significant amount of cargo vessels from all across the world. That traffic, it adds to the amount of possible medevac cases and/or maritime accidents that happen on the river.
Looks like they got the ladder down right there, huh?
You think you can get close enough we can just hang on to it?
Whatever's easiest for you.
Bow's higher and it's easier to get on that ladder.
I was maneuvering myself into position to get the crew up onto the ladder. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
We're next to the stern of a huge ship. We're back there by where their rudder is, and it's not a real comforting feeling.
Ready for impact just in case.
Aye, aye. The size of their boat versus how small our boat is, and ACOM ladder's coming at you. It's a pretty scary place to be.
That ladder, although stationary, we had enough momentum where if one of us were to get caught between that and the boat, we would have been crushed.
Go when you can, Wes.
Coxswain was able to safely maneuver the boat. We jump on board as best as possible.
Oh, God.
We had our gear already passed up, so at that point, we made our way up the ladder.
Ready for approach.
We knew that there was a 25-footer that was already on scene with the Alexander Theos at the time, but we really had to go back to the air station first to get a hot refuel.
I'm gonna grab some more EMT support in a litter.
The plan is now to take on gas. We're gonna take off all unnecessary gear because we're looking at possibly 2 litter patients at the same time. And I think to help out, Chief, we're gonna ask for another swimmer so we have another EMT. We don't know how badly burned they are, that's the problem. So we're gonna just plan for the worst here.
As they were on the ground, I went over to ask for a second EMT, so we would have 2 qualified individuals, and we launched back out.
So you guys had a fire down in the engine room? Okay.
These 2 gentlemen had 2nd to 3rd degree burns, blistering of the skin, charring of the skin.
Your hand in your face, that's it, sir?
Time is of the essence. These gentlemen were burnt. Our job at that point is to package them for the helo. You know, it's funny sometimes that when people are in a situation like that, they have the demeanor of calm, cool, and collected.
You'll stay beautiful, believe me.
Making jokes, hey, am I still gonna be pretty? One thing though that he did pass to myself was he asked me if he was gonna be okay. The gentleman told me that he had a wife, he had a mother-in-law, and he had a couple of daughters.
We're gonna get you guys into the helicopter and they'll check you out. So we're here to take care of you guys and to get you the help that you need.
It kind of hits you out of nowhere. We were that light of hope in that gentleman's dark hour.
So as we're getting the gentleman ready on board, the helo comes up. They're first going to put over their swimmer.
So they decided to do a harness delivery. So delivered me to the deck. I met with the boat crew members. They already had the information on both individuals and led me over to where they were located.
Have you ever been hoisted to a helicopter before? Okay, we're going to lift you up into the aircraft, okay?
Seeing their faces, you never know what their expectations are.
You're going to be safe. I promise you. We'll take good care of you. Trust me. All right.
For these two, they just knew that they were burned and that they needed help.
Basket approaching the deck. Basket is on deck.
Swimmer and I are going to tend the trail line and basket.
They're bringing survivor to the basket.
And we walked one out at a time because when you have burn injuries, that skin is loose. That 100+ knots of wind coming down from the helicopter, and it can be extremely painful.
Basket's on the deck, hold position. Roger. Bringing survivor to the basket.
There were two severely burned folks on board, and we walked one out at a time because when you have burn injuries, that skin is loose. That 100+ knots of wind coming down from the helicopter really starts to shift that around. It can be extremely painful.
Basket is coming up.
Both of them were great walking out. They literally walked over and were able to kind of climb into the basket on their own.
Basket clear the deck, hold position. Trailline's on deck, thing tended. Basket is below cabin. And bring a basket inside cabin. Alexandros Trios, we have your two crew members aboard. We'll be taking them back to Astoria to an awaiting ambulance.
Okay, man, thank you very much.
This was definitely a big team effort today with Cape D supporting us in both cases.
Sector 1-3, final approach.
Coming back, it looks like the fire department's all ready to go. They got an ambulance and a fire truck out here. So it'll be a quick transfer to getting these guys to the hospital.
I still smell like fish. You do smell pretty bad.
Everybody joins the Coast Guard for a different reason. But I think every rescue swimmer, every pilot, and every flight mechanic wants to, in the long run, know that they did the best they could to help someone else.
What was the course?
235.
Chief Jeremiah Wolf, Coast Guard Station Cape Disappointment. We received a call about the Hatta 3, a boat that was taking on water. A Coast Guard helicopter was dispatched to drop off a pump. They were able to get the pump on board and dewater the vessel, but water kept coming in. And there's a high risk that the Hatta 3 could sink. So we launched a 47-foot motor lifeboat to get on scene, help him, and monitor the flooding. Hatta 3, this is Coast Guard 207. Just wanted to get an update in your current situation, over.
I'm pumping every 10 minutes, and the pump's taking about 2.5 minutes to pump it down.
When we arrived on scene, I noticed that the life raft was set out. He had his survival suit ready to go. He was pretty much ready to ditch the Hatta 3. Ready on deck.
All right.
Going. Come over.
Go, Mac.
Come on, Mac.
Go.
Come on, Mac. Myself and MK2 McDonald jump over to the boat. All right, we gotta get the dewatering here. The water was coming in at a rate of about 1,800 gallons per hour. We're anticipating an 8-hour transit and dewatering every 10 minutes. It's quite a bit of dewatering, but it's worth it to save the vessel.
How much gas you got out of that one left?
One full can.
More than last the trip home.
I got my wife off and my dogs off, and then I stayed with the boat as long as I could. And the helicopter arrived in time with the pumps and saved the boat. It's just fantastic. Job well done.
The master of the Hatta 3 has owned the vessel for over 40 years. This vessel is his house and home. It's his livelihood. So if this boat were to sink, this man would lose everything.
I believe the skipper had about 1,500 pounds of catch on board. The money that he'd gone out there to make, obviously, is going to help him fix his boat.
Good luck getting it fixed. Okay, thank you.
All right, we're out of here, Bruce. Yep.
My name is Bruce White. I've been fishing for 55 years now. I've owned the Hatta 3 for 41. I was down to about 10 minutes or so there before the helicopter arrived. And when they arrive to save you, boy, there's no one else that you'd rather see anywhere than the Coast Guard.
So check the plate. Submarine's going down.
I was already on a different vessel at the time, watching what was going on.
Submarine's approaching the vessel.
Words can't express it as much. I'd just love to give you guys all a big hug. Thanks to the Coast Guard. I love you guys.
And rescue submarine is on deck.
What do you say? You came from the heavens to save me.
Station Cape Disappointment. Attention.
Lieutenant Scott McGrew, Coast Guard Station, Cape Disappointment. Assembling the crew in front of the Cape Disappointment Lighthouse and where our lookout tower is. It overlooks the Columbia River Bar. The lighthouse has been standing watch there since 1851, and it really represents the legacy of Coast Guard surfmen that have served here on the Columbia River Bar and really makes for a special environment. U.S. Department of Homeland Security, United States Coast Guard. Know ye by these presents that BM2 Dan Snyder has demonstrated superior knowledge and skill as a lifeboat coxswain and is certified as a surfman.
Station Cape Disappointment. Call out and congratulate Surfing 478.
We did our check ride last week, and today was my pinning ceremony. It's always great to get certifications, but you realize the responsibility you take once you accept it. You know, it's wonderful that I'm done, but once you become a surfman, you're expected to have the answer. You know, and whether right or wrong, you have to come to some kind of decision, and hopefully you do all the preparation you can. You go out there and train as hard as you can, so when you make your decisions, they'll be the best decision you have with the information you get at the time. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have these guys focused on making themselves better. When the crew's out there on that long search and rescue case and know that they have 8 hours of rain and 18-foot seas ahead of them, that's that commitment, that kind of, intestinal fortitude. You're gonna be seasick, you're gonna be cold, you're gonna be miserable, but it's being able to go out there knowing that you're gonna be all those things and still go out there to do the mission. Still go out there, get it done, and get those people back home to their families.